Welcome everybody. My name is Tim Healy and I am a proud co-founder of SunPath Financial here in Newport Beach, California. Now today we're going to discuss Social Security and how you can maximize your benefits. Now before we do so, some of the things our firm specializes in are retirement income solutions, retirement tax reduction, long-term care solutions, 401k and IRA rollovers. Many of us would agree that Social Security plays a critical part of total retirement income. Now, I know some of you out there might not believe in the long haul of the system. However, we're going to set that aside for today's discussion. Now, let's talk about the long-term value of Social Security. To put this in perspective, a $2,000 a month benefit over 10 years is just over $250,000. Over 15 years, $400,000. 20 years, just over $500,000, and 25 years, just over $700,000. Now we can see that Social Security is important. All right, so there are several topics that we'll be discussing in today's presentation. First, the basics, then spousal benefits, the work penalty, how to determine your benefits, taxation, and finally, we'll bring it all together. So first up, we have the basics. In theory, Social Security is simple, right? We pay into the system, and at some point down the road, when you decide to retire, you receive an income stream for the rest of your life. So when are you eligible? Well, you're eligible for retirement benefits in the first full month of your attained age 62. Now keep in mind, you must apply 3 months prior to your desired starting date. As I mentioned earlier, Social Security is pretty simple. However, its formula may be a little complex. So the first part of the formula is the primary insurance amount, which is your monthly retirement benefit at your normal retirement age. Now, your normal retirement age depends upon the year you were born. So for example, if you were born between 1943 and 1954, your normal retirement age is 66. If you were born between the years of 1955 and 1959, you'll notice over here that your normal retirement age bumps up by 2 months. And finally, if you were born between 1960 or later, your normal retirement age is 67. So your actual retirement benefit may be higher or lower depending on your primary insurance amount. So to put this into perspective, a $2,000 primary insurance amount, if you were to start at age 62, you started early, you would receive 75% of your primary insurance amount, which is a $1,500 benefit. If you started your benefits at age 66, your full retirement age, you would receive 100% of your benefits, which is $2,000 a month. If you delayed your benefits to your age 70, the latest you could start your benefits, you could receive 132%. Which is an 8% increase between ages 66 and age 70, which is $2,640. So as you can see, early and maximum percentages are linked to your normal retirement age. So one more quick example for you guys. So once again, if you're born between 1943 and 54, your normal retirement age is 66. If you decide to take it early at age 62, you would receive 75%. If you decided to delay to your age 70, the maximum, you would receive 132%. Now, if you were born in 1955, normal retirement age is 66 and 2 months. You decided to start at age 62, the earliest you could start, you would receive 74.5%. And the maximum at your age 70, you could receive 130.5%. Now moving right along to the bottom, once again, if you were born in 1960 or later, your normal retirement age is 67. If you decided to start early at age 62, you would receive 70%, which is about 5% less. And if you delayed to your age 70, you could receive 124%, which is about 8% less than those that were born in 1943 to 1954. Next up, spousal benefits. An eligible spouse may receive the larger of two benefits. One based upon their own earnings history, or one based upon their spouse's earnings history. When is a spouse eligible? Well, you must be married 1 full year immediately before filing application. You must be at least age 62. And the working spouse must have filed an application for benefits. At the spouse's age 62, the spousal benefit equals 35% of the worker's primary insurance amount. And at the spouse's full retirement age, the spousal benefit equals 50% of the worker's primary insurance amount. Let's lay out an example. So a working spouse receiving $2,000 a month, at age 62, the spousal benefit is $700. At the spouse's full retirement age, it's $1,000. So keep in mind, the spousal benefit can never exceed 50%. So what happens if one of the spouse passes away? Well, the surviving spouse retains the larger of the two benefits. And we advise, whenever possible, the likely first to die wants to wait to collect the largest benefit possible. What about divorced spouses? Well, they can receive a benefit as well. The former spouses can receive a spousal benefit based upon a previous spouse's earnings record. So they must be at least 62 and currently unmarried. They must have been married at least 10 years, divorced for at least 2. And they must not be eligible for equal or higher benefits based upon their own earnings record or other prior spouse. And one reminder, an ex-spouse does not have to claim benefits in order to file for spousal benefits. Moving right along, restricted application. What is this? Well, it's a technique that allows one spouse to maximize their own benefit while the other claims spousal to allow their benefit to continue to grow. So when is it used? Well, both spouses have attained normal retirement age. The income is needed or desired, and the goal is to continue to grow the lesser benefit to age 70. Let's lay out the concept here. So the spouse with the larger benefit claims full benefits while taking an income, while the spouse with the lower benefit files a restricted application while taking the spousal benefit, allowing their own benefit to grow. So an example here with numbers, we have Mona here at age 66. She files for benefits, receiving $2,000. She receives $2,000 of income. And then Rob, his own benefit is $1,500 a month. But they want it to continue to grow. So what do? Rob files for a spousal benefit, taking $1,000 of monthly income to his age 70, allowing his primary benefit to continue to grow by 8%. And then at age 70, he collects $1,980, which is about $500 more than his original benefit. And as a reminder, only one member of a married couple can file for a restricted application. So will this work for you? Well, it really depends upon your total retirement picture. It depends upon your ages and also your benefit amounts. All right, the work penalty. What is the work penalty? Well, Social Security imposes a benefit penalty for those who either elect to begin their benefits early or for those who continue to work while receiving their benefits. Now, we have to define what working is. Now, working generally means earned income in the form of wages whether it's through an employer or through self-employment, commissions, fees, and even in some cases, passive income from a privately held small business may count as well. However, pensions, investments, and annuity income generally do not count towards the earnings test. Now, we're going to get to the earnings test in a moment, but before we do, one quick reminder. The work penalty only applies for earned income prior to reaching normal retirement age. In other words, there's no penalty after attaining normal retirement age. So the earnings test, let's talk a little bit about it. It's based upon the annual exempt amount, and the exempt amount is the maximum that can be earned without a benefit penalty. So in the years prior to attaining normal retirement age, there is a benefit penalty of $1 in benefits withheld for every 2 over the exempt amount, which is $17,640 for 2019. In the year that normal retirement age is attained, there is also a benefit penalty. $1 in benefits withheld for every $3 over the exempt amount, which is $46,920. So let's lay out an example so you can understand this. We have Mary over here. She begins her benefits early at age 62. She receives $20,000 in benefits. Her total combined income, including Social Security, is $40,000. So to see this further, we have $40,000 in earnings, and we have the exempt amount, as I mentioned in the last slide, is $17,640. So she's clearly over the exempt amount, $22,360. So unfortunately, there's a penalty in this situation. If you recall, $1 in benefits withheld for every 2 over the exempt amount, there's a penalty. So the $22,000 multiplied by the 50% is an $11,000 penalty. So the problem is that Mary already received the $20,000 when she should have in fact received $8,820. So the Social Security Administration is going to stop her benefits until those benefits are paid back. Next up, how do you determine your benefits? Well, there are 2 methods. First, the annual Social Security statement, which they no longer mail. The second is the online retirement estimator tool, which we'll get to in just a moment. But both of these tools are found online at ssa.gov. So how do you review your annual statement online? Well, it's broken into 2 columns. So on the left-hand side are the ages at which you could begin your benefits. And on the right-hand side are the corresponding amounts. So for example, the first row here, your full retirement age, in this example 67, you'll find the corresponding amount. The middle here, at age 70, the latest you could begin your benefits, the amount is listed. And finally, at your age 62, the earliest you begin your benefits, the amount is listed as well. We love using the online retirement estimator tool because it allows you to estimate benefits at different ages and different levels of income. It's the most accurate, and it's also easier to use. If you need help or any kind of assistance, we'd be more than happy to send you a fully illustrated step-by-step instructional guide on how to review your annual statement and use the online estimator tool. One thing that's not listed on your statement, nor will you find this online, are these 2 provisions. The first one is called the windfall elimination provision. The windfall elimination provision, it reduces but does not eliminate benefits for some that have pensions from government or nonprofit entities in which Social Security taxes are not withheld from your earnings. The second is the government pension offset. This reduces or may eliminate benefits as a current or former spouse receiving a government pension based upon income in which Social Security taxes were not withheld. If applicable, benefit reduction equals 2/3 of the pension. The most important question is, when do I begin my benefits? Well, that depends upon several different factors. Do you have other income resources, things like pensions or other retirement savings accounts? Are you married? Will you keep on working, or do you plan on working in retirement part-time? Do you expect to live a long life? And if you do, how long do you have to live in order to recoup total benefits if you decide to wait? And we use the break-even analysis in order to answer that. There are 2 different methods. There's this simple and there's the complex method. We're going to stick with the simple method today. Now here's a chart that I'd like to share with you guys on how this break-even analysis works. So if you were to retire at, let's say, age 62 and you delayed to age 66, your break-even age is 77, and age 81 with a 3% cost of living adjustment, which I will get to in just a moment. If you retired at age 62 and delayed your benefits to age 70, your break-even analysis your break-even age is 80 and 84 with a 3% COLA. And finally, if you were to retire at age 66 and delayed your benefits to age 70, your break-even age is 81 and 86 with a 3% COLA. Now, what is the cost of living adjustments? Well, your cost of living adjustments are a pay raise to your benefits. So every year in October, COLA is announced, and it's based upon the change in the CPIW from the third quarter to the third quarter. And it becomes effective in January the following year. So just an example, in 2017, the COLA was 0.3%. Let's take a look at this chart. You'll see all the way back to 1975, all the way up to currently to 2018. You'll see all the cost of living adjustments dated here, and they've fluctuated quite a bit. And historically speaking, from 1975 to 2018, you'll notice that it's about 3.72%. And over the last decade, it's down to 1.36%. Taxation, the topic we've all been waiting for. Well, how are your Social Security benefits taxed? Well, it's based upon your total combined income. Your combined income is your adjusted gross income plus non-taxable interest, things like municipal bonds, plus 1/2 of your benefits. And by the way, sometimes the IRS uses the term provisional income. So for example, if you're married filing jointly and you earn between $32,000 to $44,000, up to 50% of your benefits are subject to tax. If you earn more than $44,000, up to 85% of your benefits are taxed. If you're individually filing and you earn between $25,000 to $34,000, up to 50% of your benefits are taxed. If you earn more than $34,000 a year, up to 85% of your benefits are taxed. So it looks like we're all going to be paying some form of tax from our benefits. So obviously, Social Security plays an important role in your retirement. But Social Security is only one piece of a much larger picture. Although most Americans rely on Social Security, many of our clients have other retirement savings. Regardless of which party they belong to, their number one fear is running out of money in retirement. So, what I'm going to show you now are 3 ways on how you can avoid running out of money in retirement. Number 1, you must understand the difference between your needs and desires. To understand the difference between your needs and desires, we break your portfolio into 2 distinct categories. First, your foundation income, which are things like your needs. Then, discretionary income. These are your desires. We make this distinction for the overall security of your portfolio and also to use the appropriate tools to build that portfolio. So with foundation income, certainty is critical and it must be predictable and reliable. With discretionary income, certainty is desirable, but it is much less critical. Number 2, you must understand your income gap. To understand your income gap, we do a detailed forecast of your needed and desired expenses over a 25-year period of time. Then we compare them to your secure income sources such as Social Security and pensions. This reveals your income gaps, and your income gaps are where you spend your retirement savings. So to find your income gaps, we input your total retirement income goal. So these are the things that you would like to see happen in your retirement. We then input your secure income sources, so things like your Social Security and pensions. And the difference between those two is your retirement income gap. Then we finally input your retirement savings to see if you have enough to fill that gap. And number 3, you must understand the utility of each retirement tool. Understanding each of the tools and how they can be utilized is the key to a successful retirement. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time in today's webinar to share how these tools work. However, if you click below, you fill out your information, we would be more than happy to share the tools with you. I want to thank you all for joining today's presentation, and if you have any questions regarding any of the topics that we discuss in today's presentation, please reach out. Thank you again, and have a wonderful retirement.